Hey, so welcome back everybody. So till now we saw something like this. We created something like this. Now we are going to see the more things that we can do with text. Let's get rid of these three images. I don't want these. If I say this, we get rid of the images. Let's get rid of this class selector. Save this. Then you get the tag selector and ID selector. Let's just get rid of these. Save this. H1 font family is set to sans serif. Now let's take a look if you want to change, kind of the font variant. So if you want to change the font variant, what you can do is, first of all, I think this is H1, but this has an ID of modern heading. So let's copy this modern heading. Let's press hash and then, hash and then the ID name. If I say font hyphen variant, this is a property in CSS. If I use font variant, you have 5 options. We just need to focus on these 2 options. Normal, we'll set this to normal like this. Okay, it will not change it. Then you have the small caps. Let's take a look. Save this. You can see it's in small caps. So previously this selectors, except this S, you had everything in lowercase. Now you have everything in uppercase, but these ones are small capital letters. So that's the small caps. Let's see more about what we can do with the fonts. Let's see now how we can decorate our text. If you want to decorate your text, you can easily decorate your text. Let's set this one to text. We have a property called text decoration. Right here in text decoration, first of all, you'll not get these colors, but if you scroll up, okay, you're gonna get the main thing that's available. So we just need to focus on line through. We want to focus on overline, underline. Okay, overline, underline, line through, and none is basically the default one. Let's set line through. Okay, let's not set line through. If I set this to underline, save this, we'll have an underline right here. Okay, if I set this to overline, then I'll have a line over the text. If I set this to line through, then you have the line through the text. That's the power of text decoration you can use. Let's add some shadow, because those shadows look amazing on the text. How we can add a shadow to the text? You guessed it right. We have the text shadow property. Now inside of text shadow, you can enter minimum of, I think, minimum 3 things. Okay, so the first thing you will need to enter right here is the x-axis coordinate. What this means is the x coordinate, whatever you enter right here, okay, in the first place, if I enter 5 pixels, let's set 5 pixels. So this 5 pixel will basically, the shadow will be basically, the shadow, the replica of this text on the x-axis, getting 5 pixels on the right. If I just set it to 10 pixels, and if I save it, nothing is going to happen, because you also need the y-axis. If I set the y coordinate to 10 pixels and if I save it, you're going to see the text is, we cannot see the text. Okay, to see the text properly, you also have the blur radius. You can have the blur radius. So if I set 5 pixels, you can see it's blurred. Now you cannot see it properly because it's this line through. So if I change this line through, because it's just annoying us a lot, let's change this to underline. Now this looks better. So this you'll have a shadow to this. You can add a shadow, but this does not look like a shadow. If I change the color of this H1, so if I say color, if I change it to blue violet and save it, and you get the blue violet shadow. What if you want the shadow to be the color of your choice? If you want that, you can just go into shadow, and after these three properties you can specify your own color. Gray, you can get the gray shadow. Black, you'll get the black shadow. That's the power. Now this doesn't look like a proper shadowy text, so there are some values that you can play around with it, okay, and then just see which one fits you the most. If I set this to 5 pixels, you can see 5 pixel on X and 10 pixel on Y. If I set this to 1 pixel, this is how it's going to look like. 2 pixels, this is how it's going to look like. And blur it to 4 pixels, you can see we cannot see it properly because we have the color blue, violet, and this thing black. So if I set it to gray, now we can see it properly. This looks like a proper shadowy text. You can also change the color. Aquamarine looks very light. Let's set something dark. If I set teal, this is my favorite color, teal. You can see this is a good kind of shadowy text. So now if you don't want anything to be capital, if you don't want for example, let's add a paragraph right here. I'm going to say lorem to have some dummy text. You can see if I save this, you're going to get this lorem ipsum Ahmed and blah blah blah. I don't know the meaning of it. We just have one paragraph, so we can just select it with P. We can use a property to actually capitalize an element. If I want each word inside of this paragraph to be capitalized, to be uppercase, what I can do is I can just say text hyphen transform capitalize. Save that. You can see this L, I, D, S, every word's first letter is uppercase. Instead of this capitalize, if I used uppercase, every word will be uppercase. And you can play around with it. You can just say control space, you have lowercase, and then it's going to change everything to lowercase. Then you have inherit, initial, and set. We'll talk about these later on. None, set it to, if I said none, it's going to be the default one. That's the text transform. Let's change the font family because I don't like this one. Monospace or sans serif. You can see, let's zoom out a little bit. Now you can also set some letter spacing. How? If you don't want this to be sticky a lot, you can add some letter spacing. You can just say letter hyphen spacing. This one you can enter any kind of value. So if I set this to 5 pixels, save that, you can see you'll have the letter spacing of 5 pixels. So between each word you'll have 5 pixels of space. Normally we set it to 2 pixels because that 5 pixels, or if I set this to 20 pixels, this looks like I cannot read it properly. So 2 pixels is good. You also have negative values in it, so you can use, if I set this to -2 pixels, you can see it just goes like this. So it just coincides with it. I don't want this thing. Okay, you can use it, but I like 2 pixels because it's the text readable. You also have something called word spacing. So we saw letter spacing, which had 2 pixels of letter spacing. Let's take a look at the word spacing. So if I say word hyphen spacing, and if I enter something like 5 pixels, save this, you can see we have 5 pixels of place between each word. If I set this to 10 pixels instead, you'll have 10 pixels. If I set this to 50 pixels, then you'll have 50 pixels of something between each word, so you'll have spacing between each word of 50 pixels. I like to set it to 5 pixels. This looks readable now. Same as letter spacing, you can also specify negative. So if I say minus 5 pixels, then they will be coinciding like this. Minus 10 pixels, I'm sorry, minus 10 pixels, then they'll coincide with each other. But I like 5 pixels, that's my favorite. So that is basically it, how you can style your text. Now I'm going to give you this project, okay, that you can make. I'm going to give you this kind of exercise that you can make. The photo will be on your screen, and that you have to, design it by yourself. It's just going to be very easy, and also you will get, the colors used, everything that you can use, but you have to use it, you have to check it by your own. Okay, I'll tell you the colors, I'll tell you the font that is used, and everything else that you have to do it by yourself. That's it for this video, guys. Hope you like it, share it with others, and finally, thanks for watching.